was saying to Erica, first of all, I love when they break a fourth wall. So I love when she was like, you watch the show, you know what you did, you know what you did. I really thought they were talking about Lisa Rinna the whole time because, Denise was really good friends with Lisa and Lisa kind of threw her under the bus and Erica and Lisa. I thought that whole thing was about Rinna, but it turns out it was from, yes, this dinner party at Denise's from years ago where Erica was talking about sex and threesomes and she was loud and the kids heard.
Mm-hmm.
I just love when they break the fourth wall. But then later at the end, they kind of did it again where like Dorit was like, I think your coat's upside down. And when Denise was saying like, right, that was funny. And when she was saying like, don't do this, I think that was her way of saying like, I get what you're doing. You're going to make me the drunk of this party. That's how it's going to be edited. Because she kept saying, don't do this. I took that to mean like, don't do this on air. I know what you're doing.
How could she not know that was what they were going to do to her? That's the whole pattern of the show, is to have a guest on or introduce somebody for a couple or 3 episodes to go after, because Kyle doesn't want to be the one that's thrown under the bus because she's just such an Olympic gold medalist at throwing other people under the bus that I think when somebody turns the tables on her, she gets very mercurial in her reaction to them. And I think when Sutton made the comment, you already lost 2 sisters. Do you want to lose a third? That's why she went off so hard, because it hits close to home. And there really are problems there. As much as they try and make it look like they're good, they're not. And that sort of worried me. I can't tell when Kyle's trying to act or when she's being sincere, because her sincerity is kind of weak. So it's hard to tell. So when they brought Kim on later in the episode, I think Kim really genuinely wanted to be there and have that connection with Kyle. And Kyle was acting like she was happy to see her, but she has the opportunity to see her anytime the cameras are off. And it doesn't seem like she's making an attempt to be close to them unless the cameras are rolling. So I really question the sincerity.
Right. And Kim did an interview recently where she said, I reached out to her and, was kind of there for her when her friend passed away and this and that, which talked about Mauricio. She's like, no, I haven't heard back from her. I've tried.
Right. And I believe her, because Kim doesn't come across as somebody who sugarcoats things. She just speaks how she's feeling. And I just think it's unfortunate that Kyle started this sort of branch of the series to get where she is now. And in the meantime, the really important thing in life it's your relationships, and she's losing all of them. I mean, I don't know how she's going to heal that later when the cameras aren't rolling. I don't know what she'll do. So that's a problem child stars have. When the cameras go away, it's all they know, and they spiral. And I think Kyle's very much going to be the same way. It doesn't matter how much money she has if she doesn't have the adoration or a sense of importance. So I did think Erica was kissing Kyle's ass the whole time. I mean, she came across that way to me anyways. I don't know how you saw it, but it seemed like she was trying to have her back and support her, and which you would say a friend would do. But again, I question the friendships here.
I thought nobody was kissing Kyle's ass more than Anne-Marie Wiley, the new girl.
Okay. She did. I mean, it's true. I also thought Erica was, and their only point in doing that is to stay in her good graces so she doesn't cut him off the show. I mean, that's it, because Erica's got a brand, but she's got to have this weekly infomercial to keep her relevant in having shows. So I get that, and I'm not knocking it. It's just an observation. But with Anne-Marie, it's very much the same way. So the people that are nice to Kyle are nice to Kyle because they know that she'll axe them if they cross her. That's what she did with Camille, because Camille was part of that whole Maurizio in the beginning instance that we had. And so she leaves a bad taste in Kyle's mouth, yet she needed Camille at that dinner party to make that dinner party sort of important and tie it into the original dinner party from hell. And the same with Faye. I mean, who cares about Faye? I see why she and Kyle are friends, though. They're definitely both the same kind of person. They seem very vacant and there for the cameras and the money. So I get their friendship, but I didn't care that she was there. And then when she had to move her because she didn't want to sit across from Camille, it's like, really? But it is what it is. Pettiness.
Pettiness. At least Faye, to me, like, they're real friends in real life. So like, at least when she speaks up and has Kyle's back, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that is your friend. Anne Marie, right? It's like, you've been there for a minute. You just are saying to yourself, how am I going to stay here? You know that the person to kiss ass is Kyle. It's came across
Right.
so like, I know they're neighbors and it's the one person she knows. Well, you're there, you can get to know anyone you want. I mean, I know it's only the first dinner, but I just took that as so inauthentic of like, of course you're going to have Kyle's back because you think she's like in the number one seat on the show.
Well, she is, because whoever would approach Bravo for a branch of the show automatically holds the power. I mean, look at each of of the branches. They all have a main person that's always there. That's the reason. At least that's my understanding.
Yes, yes, and yes. Do you think Sutton was did she go too low to bring up the sisters? Was that like too low a blow?
So here's the thing about the Housewives that's hard to understand. You're supposed to take the attacks and the assaults, but you're not supposed to dish it back. So I didn't find it a low blow. I thought it was actually very, yes, said out of anger, but how she was really feeling. And it's nice to have somebody on the show that you actually believe them when they open their mouth, that they're really expressing how they're feeling. It came across as genuine, unlike, 90% of what's said on the show.
You're a Sutton fan, Allison.
I appreciate people who are honest. I also appreciate people who will stand their ground in those situations and not be a doormat for somebody who just gets their rocks off, tearing people apart. It makes them feel better about themselves and build themselves up at the expense of other people. So yeah, I find her kind of refreshing. And then I just wanted to mention this because I made this note. Kyle's stripper shoes. Those were sad. Did you see her stripper shoes?
I
her
did
big
not.
Platforms. I guess I pay too much attention, but it's funny because that used to be a stain on a woman. Like if you wore the stripper shoes, you were like a lower class person. And now it's just so mainstream. It's hard to get used to, but she had her stripper shoes on.